I'm not very comfortable when driving in the United States, not because of the other side of the road, but because of the other side of the car. I'm not used to that. I always get into the car on the wrong side. I'll be shopping and I'll come back to my car confidently and I'll jump inside and put the things down and then I'm like, And then instead of getting out, I sit there. I always just sit there. Because I always think somebody's watching me, so I just sit there. And I act like I planned it all. Like, where is my driver? Where is my driver? He should have been here by now. Where is my... Oh, well, I guess I'll drive myself. I don't know why I do that.
I'm gonna do a character that I'm working on, and it's called The Lady Who's Had It With Stuff. Okay, so, you know what? I've had it with putting gas in my car. How many times am I gonna have to go through this? I've also really had it with traffic, and not just heavy traffic, I've also had it with light traffic. It's scary. Where is everybody? Did something happen? And then the last thing, and it's the worst, I've really, really had it with people who impatiently wave at me to cross the street in front of them at a stop sign. Motherfucker, I don't answer to you, okay? You go.
Now when people make fun of me, I deserve it. I do. When people get mad at me now, it's my fault. Like when people get mad at me on the highway, that's all my bad. I'm a terrible driver. I know nothing about cars. I meant to learn about cars, and then I forgot. Nothing that I know can help you with your car ever, unless you're like, hey, I've got a flat tire. Does anyone here know a lot about The Cosby Show? And then you'd be like, oh, perhaps I could be of some assistance. I'm one of the worst drivers I've ever seen, and I just want you all to know that if you're ever on the highway behind me, I hear you honking, and I also don't want me to be doing what I'm doing. I don't like that I'm in that lane either, and I sure would like to get out of it. I was on the highway in Texas recently, which was like a highway filled with 13-year-olds, and I was in the far left lane. And I was going in the far left lane, and then it turned into a U-turn only lane. And I started to make a U-turn, but then I panicked because I didn't want to make a U-turn. So I put the car in reverse and then merged right back onto the highway. The best thing about that was that after that, cars were pulling up and looking over to see who just did that piece of shit move, expecting to see like a 100-year-old blind dog who's texting while driving and drinking a smoothie. Instead, they see a 28-year-old healthy man trying his best.
I have a horrible sense of direction. I'm bad at driving. Sorry, deal with it. I was practicing while you guys were inside. I'm still bad. I don't know what. Here's the reason that I'm done feeling bad about it is because I need to drive to get around. Like, I'm not auditioning for Formula One. Get off my dick. I'm so done. I wish I had a bumper sticker for the back of my car that just said, I know, in all caps. Like, that's where I'm at, truly, with things. Like, people honk at me, and it's like, yeah, dude, same page. Like, I also wish I wasn't out here. I should have left earlier. There's so much regret in this car. Like, please. A guy blocked me in the other day and did that thing where you just have to like look at the person in the eyes to see how dumb they are after they do something to me. Could you ever do that and then the person is doing something so dumb that you're like not even mad anymore? You're like, you're just knitting and driving. This is bigger than me and like everything's better. It really puts things in perspective. But like, this guy blocked me in and he stared at me and I just stared back because it's like, yeah, I agree. You want to get out and fight about how we both think I'm dumb? Like, drive. You're wasting more time. I don't. It's so stupid. Like, I wish that we all had a horn that was 1 octave lower in the car. That lets everyone know that you know you've made a mistake. and you're no longer accepting outside feedback. That's really what I need. Like, we all have a hint. I need a honk. I need like a low, like a baritone to let everyone leave me alone. So when I'm in the middle of an intersection, someone will be like, what is this idiot? And you just hear honk and be like, she knows, she knows. Please let me finish this 8-point turn. I'm very stressed.
When you fly somewhere, you really think about packing. You know, you talk it out with each other. Do I need 12 belts? You know? We stuff things in the shoes. That's a good spot. We always weigh it. We don't know, but we're like, oh yeah, that feels about right. But if you're driving somewhere, bring it. Bring it. We're driving. Bring it. Honey, should I bring the blender? Yes. We're driving. I may want to make fresh tomato soup this weekend. What about the treadmill? It's already packed. We're driving. We're driving. 2005 tax returns? Of course. What if the accountant calls? We're driving. Do you guys get it, or do you want more examples of stuff? More? Okay. Sophie's prom dress? Yeah. We're driving. Who's Sophie? I don't know. Pick her up. We're fucking driving.
My dad's very protective. He'll do anything for his kids, right? But it ends up backfiring on him because we act more irresponsibly because we know he's there to save us, right? So like recently, my little sister, she's the baby, you know? So she was driving her car in Massachusetts, a state over from where my parents live in Rhode Island. Her car starts breaking down. And her first instinct is just call my dad and go, Dad, my car's breaking down. It's in Massachusetts. I gotta go to work. Can you go get it? And he just goes, okay, just does it, does anything for us, goes all the way to Massachusetts, takes a cab to a bus, to another cab. He gets there, the door's locked. She forgot to leave the door open, right? He calls her at work, she has to get pinged at work, it's embarrassing. He has a temper, it's like, boom, Monica, your dad's on line one. He's like, what are you doing? You left the car, I can't have the car, why you left the car? He's like, I didn't left the car. He's like, you left the car, I can't get in. He hangs the phone, then he calls his tow truck buddy, because he just has weird friends everywhere. Because he's a dad. The guy comes, unlocks the door. When the door opens, a waft of pot smoke billows out of the car. He's Muslim. He doesn't even drink. He looks down. There's a bong laying on the driver's seat. A bong? It's like, what are you, a cartoon character? Like, who's smoking a bong and driving? Like, how high are you trying to get? It's like, get a joint, be responsible, have a hand free. Grow up. So my dad calls my mom. It's like, she's a pothead. I knew it. She's a pothead. My mom calls my sister. It's like, boom, Monica, your mom's on line one. She's like, what are you doing? Dad's going crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. She hangs up the phone. My dad tows the car all the way back to Rhode Island. He looks at the car and he realizes that's not her car. Just towed some stranger's car. Towed some pothead's car. And it wasn't even on the side of the road, it was in their driveway. They just took a car out of a driveway. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave my car in a driveway in Massachusetts. This poor pothead comes out of their house, they're just like, oh, shit. Where did I? Just goes on an adventure looking for their car. I thought I had a car. Did I have a car? My mom started freaking out. She's like, honey, this is a federal offense. You took a car over state lines. So she made my dad call the cops, and he's like, hello, I'd like to report a car theft. It was me, I stole the car. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back. And then he just put it back in the driveway and left. It's like, this poor pothead just comes back from their adventure, and they're just like, the driveway. Should have checked the driveway.
My thing, I just don't like driving women home, man. That's the thing. Yeah. I always meet the women living in bad neighborhoods. You know, they always say the same thing when they get out the car, and they get out the car like, don't drive away. till I get inside my house. You know, like if somebody out there, I'm gonna get out of my car. Now, I might roll down the window like, hey man, don't be doing that to her. You better leave her. That's right, I'm talking, what? Well, I guess we'll be seeing her again. I drive around the block, try to help her out. Leave her alone! Run, girl! He's right on your heels, watch out! Watch out for the knife!
Turned 29 recently. I had the worst birthday ever. I got into a car accident on my 29th birthday. It sucked. I was in South Carolina. What really sucked about it is I was in a car with 3 strange women, and I think I had a good shot at the one that was in the back seat with me, but once the car accident happened, that kind of threw everything off. It's kind of hard to jump back in the game after you were in the ER for 10 hours. You can't pop out with stitches, so where were we? I woke up. It sucked. I didn't even have that moment in the car accident where you could say, oh, what's happening? It just woke up hurt. And I think as a man, when you say you in a car accident, people think you were driving. No, I wasn't driving. Other people failed me. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. That was a mistake. I was in the back seat because when you're in the front seat, the car cares about you and annoys you into wearing your seatbelt. All right, woman, I'll put my seatbelt on. But in the back seat, the car, hey, the seatbelt's there. Do what you want to do. You want to gamble again? Double or nothing. Your life. I just woke up bloody in the ambulance. That's how rappers say it. In the ambulance, shot him 5 times, put him in the ambulance. No, it's ambulance, man. Stop saying it like that. Rappers ruined how I said ambulance for 10 years. I was saying ambulance. No, it's ambulance. I woke up, I pulled my health insurance card out right away. I have health insurance. This ambulance ride shall be reasonable.
I don't know an awful lot about New York. I've been here a couple of times. I love New York. It's a magnificent city. The thing I love most about it is its diversity. You know, I never knew there were so many different ways of saying you. It's fantastic. But one thing I wouldn't do here is I wouldn't try and drive in Manhattan. You drive like crazy here. You know, I don't approve of drink driving, but I'd need to have a few drinks to pluck up the courage to drive, you know? Yeah. It's mad on the roads. Now, the most dangerous people on the road are the ambulance drivers. They're reckless. Now, I've no respect at all for that particular emergency vehicle. And the thing I dislike most about the ambulance is the way they have the word ambulance spelt backwards, emblazoned across the front of the vehicle. Now, the thinking being that you're driving along in traffic and you look in your rearview mirror and you see, oh, there's an ambulance behind me, so I better pull over. You know, that's assuming that you haven't heard the incredibly loud siren in the first place. You know, they think we're idiots, don't they? So whenever I see an ambulance coming towards me, down the wrong side of the street, as they often do, I think to myself, well, I hear the siren all right, but how can I be sure? You know? Huh? How can I be sure? You know?
A lot of people rag on LA though, you know, people will be like, the traffic, I hate the driving, but that's actually like one of my favorite parts. Like, don't you like love your car? Yeah? Don't you just like love being in there? If something smells, it's yours, you know? You can like win imaginary fights with your friends. There's just a little bit of danger in your life from when you're texting and driving. I'm constantly doing it. It's to a point where it's like I'm not texting and driving, I'm browsing and driving. Like I got pulled over for it and this cop was like, I saw what you were doing. And I was like, what, reading the New York Times? You guys are problematic. 1 ticket, thank you. But when you get a ticket for texting and driving, you have to go to traffic school to get rid of it. And in traffic school, they show you all these PSAs where teen girls get in car accidents and die. And they're always like texting their mom like, made the team, smash. Or they're with their group of gal pals and they're like, text him. And it's like, you get the popcorn, I'll get the tickets, dead, Jessica's face chasing pavement. And I'm like, I like this. I like learning through narrative. It's our oldest way of teaching lesson. But this is not my narrative, you know. I'm gonna die Googling macarons. Not even like where to find macarons, just like midday, I need to look at a beautiful cookie right now. I'm gonna die being like, WebMD, symptoms of schizophrenia. My last thought, like, yep, we've got that, Dad. I'm gonna die tweeting at Bette Midler. You know, when are you gonna do Hocus Pocus 2, Dad? And they'll be like, Miss Midler, you have to do this movie. It was the dying wish of a twink.
You have to drive in Los Angeles. So I had a little rental car and I'm driving on the freeway and this police car pulls up behind me and he drives behind me for a little bit and then he flashes his lights. And I was like, oh, he probably wants to go past. And so I moved over to the middle lane and then he came with me. And he flashed his lights again. And I was like, oh, come on, just go past me, man. Just go past me. And I went back to the fast lane. He came back with me and he just flashed lights. And this time he's like, whoop, 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 whoop. And I was like, yeah, go past. You keep doing with me, go past. Because I didn't think he was stopping me. I thought it was basically the vehicular equivalent of that moment on the sidewalk when you both don't know which way to go. I thought we were doing that with our cars. Like, I thought that was happening. And clearly he thought that I was evading him in the most polite manner ever. Because he gets irritated and he's like, pull on the side of the road, pull on the side of the road. Now I couldn't hear what the hell he was saying. I'm not gonna, which I think is part of the problem. I don't think it's fair that police have speakers on their cars and we don't. I think this is a recipe for disaster. That's the first step in mending relationships, is communication, people. I don't know what the hell that guy was saying, but I couldn't tell him. He was like, pull on the side of the road, if I had a speaker, I would have had the ability to be like, sir, I cannot hear what you're saying. Enunciate your words, please. Enunciate your words. Speak clearly. I said, pull on the side of the road. No, use your words, buddy. Use your words. Talk to me. Talk to me. What do you need? Pull over. I'll be like, okay, I will be pulling over right now. Thank you very much. Like, it would be more effective. But I didn't know, so he's like, pull over. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you want to do. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, pull over. And I panicked, and so I stopped. I pulled over right there where I was on the freeway, which apparently you're not supposed to do. I didn't know this, because I just know that police tell me to do something, I do it. So he said, pull over, and then I stopped. And then he was like, don't pull over there. Then I was like, well, you should have been more specific. You can't tell me to pull over, and then tell me to not pull over. You should have said pull over at a time that is more appropriate. You can't just tell. Now I'm panicking. He's like, get back into the road. I'm like, this guy does not know what he wants. I'm going back. Now I'm back in the road. And then he's like, take the next exit. And now we're driving. And now he's guiding me along. It's like I had a really angry GPS. It was the weirdest thing ever. And so like he's driving me like, make a right at the lights, make a right. It's like I chose angry cop on my Waze. That's what it felt like. He's like, turn left. Oh, no, I said left, turn left. No, recalculating. When it is safe, maybe.